The Denver Broncos are at a crucial point this offseason, and the moves they make could define their future. After a wild card exit, it's time to get serious about fixing key weaknesses in free agency in the draft. With Sean Payton and George Payton calling the shots, this team has a real chance to take a major step forward. What's up, buddies? Welcome back. If you are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We cover all AFC West news here on this channel. All right, let's get into it. What a perfect offseason looks like for the Denver Broncos. Now that they've had some time to process the season and evaluate the roster, let's go step by step through an ideal plan to get this team back in contention. The Denver Broncos pulled off a jaw-dropping 2024 season, completely exceeding expectations. But despite that, Bleacher Report hit them with a shockingly low grade for their performance. Remember, the Broncos were expected to win 5 games this year. However, they did much, and that indicates something. Before we dive in, let's take a quick look back at last year's offseason picks. When the Broncos took Bo Nix with the 12th pick, you could practically hear the laughter echoing across the league. A lot of people were quick to say the Broncos panic drafted the quarterback, whatever that even means. But here's the thing. Nobody's laughing now. After a tough 0-2 start, the doubters were out in full force, taking victory laps all over the place. But then, over the final 15 games, the Denver Broncos flipped the script, going 10-5 and securing their first playoff spot since the 2015 season. And let's not forget Bo Nix. He didn't just play well, he cemented himself as the franchise quarterback. Fast forward to Bleacher Report's NFL team grades, and here's what they had to say about the Broncos and their B+ for the 2024 season. The Denver Broncos are well ahead of schedule in climbing the NFL hierarchy. Last offseason, the Broncos had cap space limitations because of dead money owed to quarterback Russell Wilson. And they still do. But the front office managed to put together a competitive roster around rookie quarterback Bo Nix. Denver didn't have a running back who rushed for more than 513 yards. Only one of its pass catchers, Courtland Sutton, racked up more than 503 receiving yards. Yet Nix threw for 3,775 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions with a 66.3% completion rate. He finished 6th league-wide in touchdown passes and added 430 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground. Nix's production is a promising sign for the Broncos' future. He's also paired with a defense that ranked 7th in total yards and allowed the 3rd fewest points. Even though the Buffalo Bills crushed the Broncos 31-7 in the wildcard round, Denver exceeded expectations, getting to 10 wins and a playoff berth. DraftKings set the Broncos over-under total at 5.5 wins. Well, with nearly $100 million in dead cap and an offense that lacked weapons, the Denver Broncos and their coaching staff managed to squeeze every last bit of juice out of that roster. They fought through the challenges, and now, as they head into the 2025 offseason, they're about to see a whole new level of flexibility. With a good chunk of cap space opening up, the Broncos have plenty of room to make moves and free up even more space. This offseason, the Denver Broncos are finally locking in some stability at quarterback, and that opens up a world of possibilities for how they build their roster. One spot they could really upgrade is safety, and Talanoa Hufanga of the San Francisco 49ers might be the perfect fit. The Pro Football Focus has identified the Denver Broncos as a potential landing spot for this guy. Hufanga, ranked number 1. 23 overall by PFF for 2025, has dealt with injuries the past 2 seasons but showcased his talent in 2022. That year, he earned a solid 78.5 PFF coverage grade. The Broncos, despite having one of the NFL's top coverage units, struggled with P.J. Locke, who was exposed during their wildcard playoff loss. Hufanga would provide a significant upgrade over Locke, particularly in Denver's single-high coverages if he can stay healthy. In his breakout 2022 season, Hufanga earned first-team All-Pro honors, recording 66 solo tackles, 9 pass breakups, 4 interceptions, and 2 forced fumbles. Though injuries have limited him to just 17 games over the past 2 years, his playmaking ability is undeniable, and he is expected to attract considerable interest in free agency. Spotrac projects his deal to be worth around $11.9 million annually. The Broncos currently have 4 safeties: Brandon Jones, P.J. Locke, J.L. Skinner, and Delarrin Turner-Yell, all under contract for next season, with one, Devin Key, an exclusive rights free agent. They also have more than $39 million in available salary cap space. Locke would give the club another $4.19 million if released, money that could go toward paying his replacement. Another position that the Broncos must consider bringing back is the linebacker Cody Barton. This isn't a flashy move, but it's a smart one. Barton stepped up big when Alex Singleton went down, making plays all over the field. Bringing him back on a 2-year, $10 million deal locks in a solid linebacker group with Jonathan Cooper, Nick Bonito, and Singleton returning from injury. Cody Barton, who had 8 tackles, returned a fumble for a touchdown and forced another fumble on a sack earlier in the Broncos' 33-10 victory over the New Orleans Saints, was named the AFC's Defensive Player of the Week. More about his career with Seattle and Washington during 2019 to 2023. He appeared in 78 games, tallying 315 tackles, of which 178 solo, 2 sacks for 8 yards, 3 interceptions for 63 yards, 9 passes defensed, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries. In short, this guy can be an asset for the Broncos in 2025. Now, on to the draft. With the 20th overall pick, I'm taking Ashton Jeanty. After a season where they nearly broke the college football single-season rushing record, Jeanty is a significant NFL prospect. Jeanty played at a small school, is 5 feet 9 inches, and plays the position that is perhaps least valued among NFL evaluators. However, he is a big-time prospect. If he's there, you don't overthink it. 7 yards per carry, over 2,600 yards, and 30 touchdowns. Pairing him with Bo Nix will be electric. He could go to the Cowboys at 12 or maybe the Bears at 10, but if he's still on the board, the Broncos should turn the card in. Ashton Jeanty's scouting report suggests that he is one of the top running back prospects to emerge in the last decade, leaving a lasting impact on the national college football scene. His exceptional 2,601-yard season in 2024 earned him a trip to New York as a Heisman finalist. Jeanty stands out for his elite contact balance, rarely going down on first contact, as evidenced by his 151 forced missed tackles in 2024, an impressive feat only surpassed by Cam Scottibo and Bijan Robinson since 2014. His speed allows him to reach the edge and break off long runs, while his patience and maturity as a runner help him wait for blocks to develop. Jeanty is capable of making multiple cuts or moves in rapid succession on a single run, and uses his strong lower body to keep his legs churning, making him tough to stop in short yardage situations. His consistency in the 2024 season was remarkable, as he rushed for over 100 yards in every game, thriving even against stacked boxes. With exceptional pad level, contact balance, and raw power, Jeanty possesses one of the highest floors and ceilings in this draft class. He becomes a top 10 back the moment he steps onto an NFL field, though it's worth noting that he has a significant amount of mileage on his legs. Compared to other elite running back prospects, Jeanty has the most college carries with 750, which is notably more than 539 of Bijan Robinson, 632 of Christian McCaffrey, and 671 of Saquon Barkley. Now, in the second round, the Broncos should go after tight end Colston Loveland, who is 6 feet 5 inches, 245 pounds, and a legit weapon in the passing game. Even with Michigan's offense taking a step back, he still put up 582 yards and 5 touchdowns last season. If McCarthy had another year throwing to him, we'd be talking about Loveland as a first-round lock. He's the perfect fit for a Sean Payton offense. Denver is getting minimal production from its tight end trio of Adam Trotman, Nate Adkins, and Lucas Krull in the passing game, and none of them excel as inline blockers. With that in mind, it would make sense for the Broncos to consider upgrading the position early in the draft this April. According to Pro Football Focus' latest mock draft by Gordon McGuinness, Denver could address its tight end situation early. PFF projects the Broncos selecting Michigan's Colston Loveland as the first tight end off the board, adding a much-needed versatile weapon to the offense. The Broncos' upcoming offseason should focus on surrounding quarterback Bo Nix with as much talent as possible. Adding a premium tight end would be a significant boost, especially considering no tight end on the current roster has more than 14 targets this season. Loveland has been outstanding in 2024, earning an 88.0 PFF receiving grade while averaging 2.67 yards per route run, McGuinness wrote. Colston Loveland brings impressive athleticism to the tight end position. He explodes off the line at the snap, possesses strong hands at the catch point, and has the versatility to line up inline or in the slot. While he isn't an overwhelming physical presence at 6'5" and 245 pounds, placing him in the 18th percentile for tight ends at the NFL Combine since 1999, he plays with toughness as both a blocker and in yards after catch situations, even if he's not elite in either area. What sets Loveland apart is his football intelligence. He understands spacing as both a pass catcher and a blocker, and can be deployed in multiple roles. If the Broncos draft him, he wouldn't simply replace their current tight ends. He would also fit seamlessly into Sean Payton's offense. With Payton's emphasis on a big slot, Loveland could see significant snaps in a role similar to Lil Jordan Humphreys, giving Denver a valuable new weapon in the passing game. And to round things out, in the third round, the Broncos should draft defensive tackle Alfred Collins. He is not my top-ranked defensive tackle, but he fills a major need. 6 feet 5 inches, 320 pounds, an absolute run stuffer. The Broncos led the league in sacks last year, so they don't need more pass-rushing DTs. They need a guy who can shut down the run. With DJ Jones hitting free agency, Collins is the perfect fit. His combination of effort and elite physical traits makes him a strong fit for a defensive rotation. He moves well laterally, disrupting zone blockers' landmarks, and has the stride length to create problems when attacking upfield. After adding mass in 2024, he became tougher to move when maintaining proper pad level, though he can be slow to shed blocks and make tackles outside his gap. His raw traits suggest he can develop into a more consistent pass rusher, but his production remains untapped. While not a premier playmaker, Collins has the size, talent, and versatility to strengthen a defensive front, contributing early with the potential to grow into a starting role. He's a legit specimen. With the right coaching, he could end up taking off and becoming the best interior player in this class. So, what do you think about the Broncos situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.